Right, we got the Broncos versus the Bills in what will be the Broncos' first round of the playoffs, but the second round of the playoffs. Broncos obviously got the bye. And I'm going to tell you tonight why I don't hate the matchup. Everybody's freaking out about having to play the Bills, and I'm going to tell you why I don't hate it. Do I have respect for the Bills? Obviously. Do I constantly live in a little bit of fear of Josh Allen, who's the best quarterback in the playoffs? Yeah. Obviously, there's a little bit of healthy respect and healthy fear of Josh Allen, but I don't hate the matchup. I've got my reasons, and I hope by the end of the video, I will convince you guys why I think the Broncos can and should beat the Buffalo Bills. It's a weird matchup. It's only the second time that a number one seed has ever been a home favorite as in their first game in the playoffs. The other time was the Philadelphia Eagles, and they went on to win a Super Bowl that year. So it's a weird deal from Vegas to have the Broncos as home dogs against the Bills, but I don't hate the matchup. Matter of fact, there are things about this matchup that I even like. Before we get into all of this, do need to take a quick second here to thank my title sponsor, Safeway. Could not do this podcast without Safeway. Also couldn't do it without you guys who support Mount Polumbus Speaks and who watch Mount Polumbus Speaks. But Safeway is an incredible local grocery store, and there is a difference in where you shop. Safeway supports local small businesses, so know that when you shop at Safeway, you are supporting local small businesses as well. They cut their fruit fresh in store every single day. They've got an incredible app that if you don't have on your phone, I'm telling you, you're missing out on. Download the Safeway app today. Skip the other delivery service apps, and you're going to save time. You're going to save money. They make it super easy to repeat your orders. And if you choose to get it delivered to your house before you blink your eye, that food will be sitting at your doorstep. Safeway, fresh foods, local flavors. Check out your local Safeway store today. All right, listen, we all know about the Bills. And we all know the amount of pressure that Josh Allen is under this year. No Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. If there's ever a year that Josh Allen needs to win a Super Bowl, it feels like this is the year. And I got that, and he's feeling that pressure. So I'll start with that. It's just a small psychological thing, but there is far more pressure on the Bills to get a win, to win a Super Bowl, than there is for the Broncos. Psychologically, the Bills are carrying the weight of that. Josh Allen is carrying the weight of that. He knows what everybody is saying about him if he doesn't get it done this year, and the Buffalo Bills team knows what's at stake. Matter of fact, it's not insane to think that Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Bills, might actually get fired if he were to lose this game against the Denver Broncos. Will he? I don't know. I'm not necessarily predicting it, but it's not an insane thought. We've already seen 9 head coach vacancies. Mike Tomlin just got fired today, actually resigned, quote unquote, resigned. But it's not an insane thought. So that's a lot of weight that psychologically the Buffalo Bills are carrying, where the Denver Broncos, hey, we're the home underdogs, like nobody expected the Broncos to be here in year 2 of Bo Nix. Everybody thought it'd be year 3, year 4. We're ahead of schedule, right? So we're playing with house money, and the Bills kind of are playing on borrowed money right now. So that's just a psychological aspect that goes into this game. Other things, just matchup-wise, how do I feel about the matchup? Well, Josh Allen's scary. So start with that, end with that. But the Denver Broncos are a better football team than the Buffalo Bills. When we're talking about the football team in its entirety, the Broncos are a better football team. Of course they could lose this game. I'm not going into this with arrogance or cockiness. I just truly believe the Broncos are a better team, and they can and should win this game. When you go through the list statistically, where they stack up, I could give you all the numbers and we could get bogged down in the numbers, but here's how it breaks down. The Broncos have an elite defense. The Bills' defense is not anywhere close to elite. Now, their secondary is elite. Matter of fact, they've got the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. Their secondary is the best in the NFL. It's a weird combination because they're not particularly good at stopping the run. And so if you just want to go defense versus defense, Broncos win in a landslide. Broncos defense is far better than the Buffalo Bills defense. Clearly, the Bills offense is better than the Broncos offense. They are far more explosive, but the Broncos are a more consistent offense. The Buffalo Bills, they thrive in adversity. Meaning when things get off schedule, Josh Allen thrives when things get off schedule. And they play well from weird situations, whereas the Broncos are the complete opposite. If the Broncos are going to beat the Bills, they've got to beat them by controlling the game plan with methodical offense and a defense that does not give up big plays. That's how they've got to do it. There's a difference of style that goes into this thing, that if the Broncos start allowing big explosive plays, that's not going to play into their favor. Broncos need to play in a methodical style, offensively, defensively. Broncos offense is not an explosive offense, but they do have the ability to string together 13 or 14 play drives, and they do that relatively well. Now, I would say both offenses have their issues in the red zone, and the Bills are probably better than the Broncos offense in the red zone, and that's purely because Josh Allen is such an incredible weapon down there with his feet. And so when we get into the lower red zone, Broncos defense has got to have a game plan for stopping Josh Allen on his feet, because that's where they're most dangerous. Obviously, we saw what happened last week against the Jags, and the Bills had that 11-yard push or tush push that everybody thought scored, and it did not. That's just a small factor. It's not the QB sneaks. It's all the other ways that they run with Josh Allen that scares you. However, I will say this. In the open field, I think it's a different story. Josh Allen's clearly dangerous with his feet, but I don't think Josh Allen's going to beat you with his feet. I say that, and I fully recognize how stupid that can sound. I mean, Josh Allen's clearly a weapon with his feet. But what's really going to kill the Broncos is if Josh Allen starts beating you off over the top with his off-schedule throws. The good news is that this Denver Broncos defense, in my opinion, they have proven that they are capable of maintaining rush lanes, forcing throws from mobile quarterbacks from within the pocket. Denver has done that historically relatively well, in my opinion. So I think there's a game plan that Vance Joseph can go back to, that he can look at and how he wants to control Josh Allen. But I also don't want to totally neutralize our pass rush by going with the cage rush and not allowing Nick Bonito to go over the top to try to get those strip sacks, because turnovers are going to be key, obviously. There's two things that the Broncos need to fix offensively if they're going to win this game. The Broncos offense has got to fix two things, and here's the difference between my team in 2015 and where this Broncos team is today. Obviously, there's a lot of comparisons between the great defense and a struggling offense. But if you look back on when and where we got things right offensively in 2015, it was in weeks 15 and 16, and we started running the ball, and we started running the ball well. And that carried on through the playoffs. The Bills are not a very good rush defense. The Broncos don't have their starting running back in J.K. Dobbins. So, will Sean Payton be able to develop a game plan and stick to that game plan of running the football a lot against a defense that is not particularly good at stopping the run? That's what we did well. When we got to the playoffs in 2015, we ran the hell out of the football, and we ran the ball damn well. So this Broncos team has got to fix that. Now, I've got my concerns on whether Sean Payton will actually do that, because he's going into the playoffs with R.J. Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin, not with J.K. Dobbins. And I acknowledge that that's an issue, because R.J. Harvey is not J.K. Dobbins. And Jaleel McLaughlin, as much as I love him, he is not an every down back. And I do love Jaleel McLaughlin, but he's not an every down back. So there are some limitations offensively that the Broncos it's a reality, but you're also going up against defense with a tremendous secondary, number one in the NFL, and they're not particularly good at stopping the run. I'm not a genius. Game plan says you probably got to run the ball really, really well. That's the one thing, that's the first thing that this Broncos defense has got to fix. Broncos offense has got to fix. The second thing that has got to change on this Broncos football thing, and it's an offensive thing, but it's also a defensive thing, they have got to fix the turnover margin. If you're going to win in the playoffs, you cannot lose the turnover margin. Now, in 2015, our offense was nearly historically bad at turning the ball over. It's actually crazy we're able to win as many games as we did with the amount of turnovers that we had. If I remember right off the top of my mind, I think Peyton had 17 interceptions. Don't quote me on that, give or take. We had fumbles. We had all of it. We also had a defense that created turnovers, and that helped a lot. But guess what we fixed at the end of the season? We fixed our running game, and we fixed our turnovers. Those are the two things that we fixed. And when we got to the playoffs from the second round after the bye week to the Super Bowl, we won the turnover margin as a whole. That's a huge deal. This Broncos team is not good enough to win if they lose the turnover margin. Plain and simple. That's not going to happen, okay? They're not good enough to overcome a deficiency in the turnover margin in the playoffs. It might have worked in the regular season. It's not going to work in the playoffs. So fix the running game and fix the turnover margin. Now, those are the things the Broncos got to fix, and it might sound like I'm being negative. I'm not trying to be negative. I actually firmly believe that this Broncos team is capable of beating this Bills team. Is it the most ideal matchup? No, I mean, gosh, I would have loved to go up against a team like the Steelers. I would have loved to go up against, I don't know, maybe even the Chargers, although I was scared of the Chargers for a minute there as well. There's just things about this Bills team that is off. It's just off. They've got high highs, they've got low lows. And I don't think they're a very confident group. Whereas the Broncos team is an extremely confident group. Maybe naively confident because a lot of the games they've won by the skin of their teeth, but they're confident. And the Bills have got just bad juju all over them. Are the Bills a team of destiny this year? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think just because Lamar Jackson isn't in the playoffs, that Joe Burrow isn't in the playoffs, that Patrick Mahomes isn't in the playoffs, I don't think that makes the Bills a team of destiny. The Broncos have won a lot of games with a formula that has worked for them. It's not an exciting formula. It's a formula that's going to make us all nervous as hell. But it's a formula that I think stacks up particularly decent against this Buffalo Bills team. Because if we could be the steady Eddie team, if we could be the team that avoids giving up the big plays, well, I don't think the Bills offensively are going to string together 14, 15 play drives. Now, the Bills are really good at running the football. And that's something to keep an eye on. But I'm not worried about that matchup. I think this Broncos defense can handle it. And I'm actually okay if the Bills have a big day on the ground. Because I don't think that that's how they're going to beat us. I think they're going to beat us if Josh Allen has a big day in the air. Hold the Bills to 20 points or less, and the Broncos probably win this game. If you get in a shootout, it's going to be tough. This Broncos team isn't made to win in a shootout. So what does that mean for Sean Payton in the game? How aggressive does he have to be as a play caller? We've seen in the playoffs multiple times teams choose to not take the points, and instead they've gone for it on fourth down, and it's come back to bite them in the ass. There's a good argument to be made either way. There's a great argument to be made. You got to stay aggressive when you play this Bills team because they're going to get theirs, and you're going to have to outscore them. I get that argument. I just don't think it's the right argument. I think the right argument for this Broncos team is that they've got a formula to win, and that formula to win is not a shootout. So don't try to engage in a shootout. If you get down there on the 8-yard line and you got 4th and 2 in the first quarter, I think Sean Payton should actually take the points. Put points on the board, and let's play our style of football. Our style of football is a grinded-out style of football that tries to win a relatively low-scoring game. Now, obviously, as the game goes on, if it looks like you got to win in a shootout, you got to change your game plan. You got to change your aggressiveness. Dial that sucker up. And that's okay. That might be the way you got to win this game. I just don't think that's the way that the Broncos win it easily. Well, they're not going to win it easily no matter what, but because that's not the way the Broncos win games. They don't win any game easily, but they can win this game. The Bills' offensive line is pretty damn good, but they've also been exposed at times. I really do like their tackles. I like Deion Dawkins. I like Spencer Brown. Really good football players, but Spencer's been exposed at times this year, and the interior's been exposed at times this year. The Broncos need to win with a four-man rush. That's how they need to play this game. Not via blitzing. I mean, you're going to blitz, of course. I just mean the majority of the time. If you can win with a four-man rush, that's going to help you a lot. Have a game plan for Josh Allen's feet in the red zone, but don't be afraid of Josh Allen running the ball throughout the open field, my opinion. I'm really excited about this game. I'm going to be there. Be the first game I've attended in person this year, and I'm fired up to be in the building, to be a part of it. I would not tell you that I'd put a bunch of money on this, that the Broncos are going to win it, because Vegas is very smart, and I'm no longer a betting man. But what I am telling you is that the matchup is not overly scary to me. Josh Allen is scary. The Buffalo Bills football team is not scary to me, if that makes sense. Yeah, of course, I respect the hell out of Josh Allen, but the Denver Broncos have been a more consistent football team, start to finish, from week 1 to week 18, and across the board, offensively, defensively, maybe special teams even. The Broncos have been a more consistent football team. So I'm really excited about it. I don't know how it's going to go down. I got a gut feeling. I wouldn't be shocked if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I don't. I think the Denver Broncos are going to get a victory, and they're going to have to eke it out, and they're going to have to win this game like 23-20, 23-17, something like that. I don't like it if we get into the shootout because I don't think we can keep pace. Defense can't have a bad day. From here until the Super Bowl, the defense cannot have a bad day. But that's what we signed up for, right? That's what this team signed up for. They signed up for winning games via their defense. So defense, keep it up, keep doing your thing. Just can't have a bad day, because if you have a bad day, we're all probably going home unhappy. I'll break down this game in more detail with specific matchups, game plan, how to attack it, so on and so forth. I'll have that out either on Thursday or Friday. Mount Polumbus Speaks is the podcast. If you're new to it, hit that link in my bio on X, going over to YouTube and hit subscribe. That's where my content lives. I put out all 22 breakdowns after the game, where I break down the coach's film. That seems to be a fan favorite. I know you guys love that, and you can catch all those breakdowns over there on the YouTube channel. If you guys like what I do, I'd be very grateful if you'd help my channel grow over on YouTube by liking on this video and commenting on this video. And appreciate Safeway being the title sponsor of Mount Polumbus Speaks. I'll be back with you guys in a day or